Hello and welcome to Gilly's Hearthstone Variety Show. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. I had the wrong profile selected. So my new Hearthstone show. Thank you for joining me. I'm planning on doing this 4 days a week with a lot of different Hearthstone content, kind of depending on the day. I like doing daily themes because themes are fun. So Mondays I'm thinking about doing like a deck demo. So that's what I'll be doing today. And I'll just be bringing you either a deck that I built or somebody else built. We'll be talking about the strategy behind it, and then I'll play a couple of games so you can kind of see how it works. Tuesdays, I'm going to be laddering, trying to get all the way up to 3-star masters. But I'm going to be doing it with a beer. I'm going to call it Tinker Tuesdays because it's awesome. Wednesdays, I plan on doing weird decks, and I've got a great one lined up for this week. It's all taunts, so we'll see how that goes. Just something weird, something crazy. We'll see if it works. It probably won't, but it'll be a lot of fun trying it out. And similar to Weird Deck Wednesdays, Thursdays I want to do Arena Madness, where I'll get into the arena and do something like maybe 60-second arena deck picks and then have to play with it. So we'll see how that goes. Let's get started with today. I'm going to be doing a deck demo of Scrattlebeard's Pally deck. Scrattlebeard posted this on Reddit a few days ago, and the great thing about this deck is it can be made with all basic cards. So once you've leveled up the Pally to 10 by either playing versus the AI or or versus people, then you'll have all the cards that you need to make this deck, which is totally great. And Scrattlebeard actually got 2 Masters 3 just with this deck. So it's a totally viable option. It's a great starter deck for you, especially if you're into Hearthstone and you've leveled up all your decks, but you're kind of nervous about stepping into the ranked play. This one will be really good for you. So we're going to I'm going to pull up the deck, we're going to look over the cards, talk about its strengths and weaknesses and strategy for how to play the deck. I'm going to play a couple of games so we can actually see how the strategy works. And at the end, I'll talk about some suggestions that have been made to improve the deck and ideas for once you have more cards that you can kind of start to replace out those very basic cards with. So, let's check out Scrattlebeard's deck. I've got to minimize some things, so bear with me 1 second. And also, hello everyone in chat. Hearthstone. All right, here we go. So here is Scrattlebeard's Pally deck. It has 30 cards like any other deck. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the cards very quickly. I will stop and talk about the cards that the strategy of this deck revolves around, but I'm not going to explain the cards that are not as central to the deck. So we've got one, for those of you who haven't played Hearthstone, this side is the cost, the mana cost of the cards, and this side is the amount that you have in the deck. You can only have 2 of any card of a deck, except for there's a few cards that you can only have 1 of, but 2 is the max per deck. So we've got 1 Hand of Protection, which is a basic Pally card. We've got 2 Voodoo Doctors, and then we have 2 each of the Acidic Swamp Ooze and Bloodfen Raptor. So these 2 are pretty important to this deck because they both have 3 attack. And on the surface, 3 attack, not important. But when paired with another card, again, we have 2 of these, the Shattered Sun Cleric. If you use the Shattered Sun Cleric, once you've got one of these 2 already out, you can give one of them a 1/1, so an extra attack and an extra health. And so they then have 4 attack. Why is 4 attack so awesome? 4 attack's really good when dealing with priest decks, and right now there are a ton of priests in the, sorry, I'm going to flip over 1 second. There are a ton of priests right now who are playing the game, and priests have 2 cards. One destroys any minion that has 3 attack or less, and another destroys any minion that has 5 attack or more. So you get where I'm going probably with the 4 attack. If you put out a Bloodfen Raptor or Acidic Swamp Ooze and then buff it using your Shattered Sun Cleric, you've got 4 attack, which makes these cards invulnerable to those those 2 priest cards, and that's going to help you out a bunch because they have 4 of those cards in the deck to get rid of minions, and you've now got cards that are invulnerable to that. So that's a great part of this deck. Another card you'll have is the Novice Engineer, and you'll have 2 of those. 1 River Crocolisk, 2 Razorfen Hunters, which we'll talk a little bit about in a little bit, and then 2 Shattered Sun Clerics, which we went over. The Wolfrider and the Blessing of Kings, these 2 are also a big part of this deck. The reason being, Wolfrider is a card that's pretty cheap, 3 mana, and it also has charge. So the great thing about cards with charge is when you put them out, you can immediately attack with them. You don't have to wait until your next turn to be able to attack with it. And your Blessing of Kings, which is a standard pally card, gives any minion +4/+4 for attack and 4 health. The really cool thing about these 2 cards is you can have them in your hand, and then once you use them, you immediately get to do a bunch of damage with them. You can put the Blessing on Kings on a minion that's already out, and it deals at minimum 5 attack if you have a 1 attack minion, but you can put it on something bigger. And your Wolfrider will automatically do 3 damage as well. So this is really good because if your opponent isn't expecting for you to do a bunch of damage the next turn and doesn't have much in the way of minions out, you can do a lot of damage with that and surprise your opponent. And oh, by the way, if you're in chat and asking questions, I will check on chat once I'm actually in games between turns, that type of thing. So moving on, again, you have 2 of both the Wolfrider and the Blessing of Kings. You also have 2 of both the Truesilver Champion and the Hammer of Wrath. So these cards are really cool because they're 2-for-1 deals. The Truesilver Champion is a weapon. It's going to let you attack 2 times because of its durability, and it's got an attack of 4. But also, whenever your hero attacks, you're going to heal yourself for 2. So that's why it's kind of a 2-for-1 thing. It's a heal and an attack. Same with Hammer of Wrath. You deal 3 damage, and then you also get to draw a card. Very, very, very useful card. Both of those also can double as finishers. So you can have them in your hand and then use them when your opponent is low. Especially if, for instance, your opponent has gotten rid of your minions and maybe thinks that there's nothing that you can do, you can bring them off and finish the game. So it's cool how useful both of those cards can be. So you definitely want 2 of each of those in your deck. The next one up is Consecration. You want 2 of those as well. It does 2 damage to all enemies. This is very important because it gives you the ability to wipe down a board and get rid of your opponent's minions if he or she has several small or easily killed minions, but you maybe only have a couple to be able to attack with. You play Consecration, it'll do 2 damage to all enemies, hopefully kill some, and it'll also weaken other ones to the point that you can then finish them off and maintain or regain control of the minion scene. So you definitely want 2 of those. Finishing up, we have 2 Chillwind Yetis. Chillwind Yetis are awesome because, as we talked before with the Shattered Sun Cleric, buffing your Bloodfen Raptors and Acidic Swamp Oozes up to that 4 attack that will help you be really good versus the Priest. The Chillwind Yeti does the same thing, except it already has 4 attack. It's just freaking cool. And then it also has 5 health, which we'll talk about way later in the show. But it's really nice when someone else brings out a 4 attack because there's a lot of 4 attack, 4 health cards, and you'll be able to get rid of them without losing your Chillwind Yeti because you have 4 attack, 5 health. Moving on, you will have 2 of the Sen'jin Shieldmastas, which are, first of all, have a really cool emote, and second of all, they have taunt, which is awesome. The other thing about them is, if you notice, they again have the 3 attack, so you can buff them with the Shattered Sun Cleric and get that into that awesome 4 attack spot. And it sounds like priests are scary, and that's because they are. That's why you want so many cards that you can deal with the priest with. And the last 2 cards that you want to add to your deck are 2 of the Frostwolf Warlords. So this card is really your kind of biggest finisher card because you gain +1/+1 on this card for any other minion on the battlefield when you bring it out. So the reason that you will want to play this later in the game is once you've gotten rid of your opponent's minions or gotten them down to a very manageable number, and you have a bunch out, you'll bring this out and it will get, if you've got, 3 or 4 minions on the battlefield already, this card is going to be huge and very difficult for your opponent to deal with, especially in the late game if they're out of card draws and they're only drawing like 1 card per turn. If they've used their minions to try to take down your minions, it's going to be very useful. So the strategy about this deck is very good because it helps you just outplay and outtrade your opponents. Trading meaning when your minions are attacking other minions. You're going to come out on the better end of the deal most of the time, which means that you'll have your minions left over and they'll be scrambling. You do this by buffing your minions with that Shattered Sun Cleric. You've got your Yetis that help you versus the Priest. There's those 2-for-1 cards that I talked about, helping you in many different ways every time you use them. And then, of course, you've got the Wolfrider and the Blessing, which help you do damage out of nowhere. So even if it seems like you don't have any cards on the board, if you've still got those in your hand, you're still going to be dealing a lot of damage. I've played um, this deck a few times today, and the biggest thing I noticed was you can be down to like 15 health, and they can be at completely full, which is exactly what happened to me today, and I was freaking out. And this deck's really good at running them out of cards in their hand, and then you still have cards in your hand, and you're able to take them out, which is also helped by the Paladin's special ability, which you can use for 2 mana to bring out another minion that's just 1/1. And those 1/1 minions are more useful than you would think, especially in finishing off rather difficult minions. Okay, so the strategy for this deck. Um, it differs a bit in who you're playing versus. Um, Mainly when you're playing versus mages and priests, you really want to make sure that when you get an opportunity to mulligan your cards at the beginning of the game, that you're switching out for 2 and 3 health minions. The Novice Engineer and the Razorfen Hunter are really good. They have trouble dealing with those in the beginning game, especially because the Razorfen Hunter brings out this 1/1 boar. So it's an extra minion on top of the Razorfen Hunter, which is already pretty tanky in the early game. Once you have an advantage of minions on the board, you don't want to play everything out of your hand. Quite a few of the decks have cards that will allow them to wipe the board of your minions and deal damage to every single one of your minions. So if you've played everything out of your hand, it's going to be really difficult for you later if they do that. So what you want to do is if you know you have the minion advantage, keep stuff in your hand. I know it's tempting to play those big cards and be like, yeah, look at everything I have, but you should really hold off. Make them use all their cards up. Continue just using your paladin ability, bringing out those 1/1 minions, and only playing out of your hand when you need to maintain the advantage on the board. And it'll work, trust me. Um, Finally, a special note versus priests. They have a card called Mind Control. It costs a lot of mana. It's an 8 mana card, but it allows them to take one of your minions. So if you're playing versus an 8 mana priest and they haven't used their Mind Control yet, don't use your Frostwolf Warlord, because if you bring this guy out and he's like at 9/9 and then the priest mind controls him, you're going to have issues. Instead, wait for him to burn his mind control on a different minion that you can deal with, and then you can bring out your Frostwolf Warlord. To a lesser extent, if you don't need the Sen'jin Shieldmasta, you might consider also not bringing him out, because he's also kind of annoying to deal with, but nowhere near as bad as your Warlord. That's your secret. Keep it safe. So before we get into it, the last thing I want to mention is Scrattlebeard. I keep wanting to say Scrabblebeard. which is odd. Scrattlebeard noticed that the only weakness he found when playing with this deck and leveling with it was sometimes it had issues versus all-out Murloc decks, which aren't super common, but you'll see them. If you do find that your opponent is only using Murlocs for minions, hope you get a Consecration or both so that you can deal damage to all the enemies and take them out before it just steamrolls you, because those decks are pretty nuts. Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's check out, just about destroyed my headset there. Let's check out the deck. Oh, and I'm also going to turn on the sound now, because you guys want to hear that awesome. Yeah. uh,
Ooze versus Valera.
okay.
You're back.
I will fight with honor.
So the reason I'm getting rid of these, this is, I could wait to get this later. This, rogues don't often get a ton of minions early game, and so I'm trying to get some lower minions. I want to try to keep this if I can. And that is perfect. Okay. So I don't want to use this guy because I want to wait until I can actually restore health with it. I'm going to use this. Just bring out my Crocolisk. So we had a question about knife jugglers. I'm going to actually talk about knife jugglers later, but that's an advanced card. These are the point of this deck is that it's all basic cards. So it's all cards that once you've leveled up your pally to 10, you'll have these, and you're able to do it. So see here how she has to use two things to get rid of one card. That's what I talk about when I talk about out-trading an opponent. Yes, she got rid of my card, but she had to use her weapon and a card to get rid of it.
I hope you like my invention.
Job's done.
Hey, look, she drew herself.
May my ancestors.
So sometimes you want the Wolfrider to keep in your hand. In this case, I really want to get rid of this card because if I don't kill it outright, it gets +3 attack because of Enrage. So I'm just going to kill it outright. Think of your Wolfriders as possible kamikazes. That's what I often use them for.
Sure.
Job's done.
So when playing this deck before,
This guy's toast.
I was playing, it wasn't this advanced of a rogue, this rogue's a little bit more advanced, but it was a rogue that I was at 15 and then came back and won it. So I'm not concerned.
I hope you like my invention.
Bring this out.
Call for the doctor.
Heal myself.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Hey, look, another Shattered Sun Cleric. Unfortunately, I do not have one of these guys out yet, so I'm gonna have to use 2 minions to get rid of this guy. But I can still bring this guy out,
Job's done.
which is okay, because next turn I can buff with one of my Shattered Sun Clerics. Also, don't know if you guys noticed this, but it looks like she's giving a wedgie. Somebody pointed that out to me, and now I cannot unsee that. Oh, wedgies.
We must cleanse the Sunwell. We must cleanse the Sunwell.
We're just gonna try this. I wish I had one of those little healing dudes, but that's okay because I survived it. We'll see what happens.
Pass me that arc light stone.
I unfortunately played unranked earlier and won. Well, not unfortunately, but I won all 3 that I played
We
earlier.
must cleanse the Sunwell.
So I'm probably playing against way harder people. It's hard to tell with unranked. Let's see. So I could buff her and give her 4/4,
I wonder.
and then she could take out this one. Or I could put. I think I'll put more out. Oh yeah, I forgot about the weapon.
Reporting for duty.
Push forward.
If I get rid of. Not a very even. It's an even trade. I'm just going to attack. We'll see what happens.
Get behind me.
Okay, now to keep this guy alive.
Someone call for the doctor. Reporting for duty.
So now you've noticed at this point, and I don't know if I'm going to win, because I don't know what cards are in her hands, but I have gotten rid of a big one. I've made it so this guy cannot attack this guy and win. He's going to have to use this guy. And I'll still have 2 out. Or he only has 1. He'll have to get rid of 1, and now I have more than her. Now that sucks, but at least I have gotten to this point. It'd be really cool if I got a Sen'jin Shieldmasta. I did not.
Reporting for duty.
The Frostwolves stand ready.
To battle.
But all I can do is play at this point. Ah yes, assassinate. That weapon has a lot of durability.
Reporting for duty.
And this is all I can do. I'm gonna lose. It happens. They had a really good deck.
To battle! To battle! Well played.
Done.
But we'll get into another one. And you can see how I wish that we would get a priest. It was unnecessary. There you go. Good job. Hopefully we'll get a priest, because I would like to see how the strategy of the deck works versus one of those, especially with the Chillwind Yetis, which I didn't even get, but the clerics, which I did get, and the raptors and the oozes. So we'll see how it works. Too many people have good cards. Yeah, you know, when you spend your money on the game, it happens.
Uther!
Oh,
Uther!
but it's a mirror
I
method.
will fight with honor. Justice demands retribution.
These look pretty good. Neon cookies. Those don't sound very good.
Well met.
Hello.
Well met.
I hope
Let's
you
draw a
like my
card.
invention.
Job's done.
That's good. Neon cupcakes. Were they good? They sound...
Ready for action.
They don't sound good. I'm just putting this out there.
Oh, if you're sure.
Maybe this person has the exact... Oh no, it doesn't have the exact same deck,
We
so I don't have one of
must
these.
cleanse the Sunwell.
Don't mess with Tusker.
Playing this just to get more minions out on the board.
Job's done.
Trying to keep the ratio in my favor. Look, Wedgie!
What you want?
Also, I don't think that it was worth it to waste the Shattered Sun Cleric on the taunt. Could be wrong. We'll see what happens. But just not sure that that was the best usage. I unfortunately don't really have... Let's use this
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
on this guy and heal him up.
Call for the doctor.
There we go. All right. So this looks good. I like this place right now. I want it to stay like this. It may not.
Just me and Mr. Bitey.
Consecration would have been nice, but I took care of it. So in this case, what I really want to use is my Shieldmasta.
Tazingo!
And I like this because then I don't even have to worry about these guys. They're gonna both have to attack him next turn. And this guy's at least gonna die. And then I can finish this one off next turn. So I can attack with both of those.
Job's done.
He may have like some weird damage dealing card. But I can't know. So I have to just, you know, play with what I have.
The Frostwolves stand ready.
Okay. So I'm definitely going to use one of these next turn. So if you use this 4/4 on this guy, I'll still lose him. Or I can deal 3 damage and lose this guy. I think I'd rather do that. And I get a card. And I can bring out an Ooze.
Man.
Oozes are cool. So you see, like, the key here, with this deck especially, I think, is just maintaining a good, like, always having more than them, or being able to trade in a way that you still somehow come out on top. So, like, watch this. I'm going to give this minion Divine Shield. And get rid of this. Which is nice. Still got this guy. I'm gonna give this guy 4/4, because running out of cards. I'm gonna get rid of this because this is annoying. Have to waste the 6, but
Reporting for duty.
maybe next turn will be. So maybe I should have waited and used. No, but he would have died. So no, that's good. He's gonna have to focus on how to avoid getting hit by that 6 or getting rid of it. Okay, so I like using this Truesilver Champion on Sen'jin. It deals 4 damage and you restore 2 health to yourself when you attack. So really you're only taking 1 damage from this. And where I am 10 ahead,
I wonder.
I like it.
For justice.
Oh, except you heal first. But I'll heal next time. And then I can finish him off with this 1/1. See where I talk about how those 1/1s are more useful than you think? That really comes in handy. I'm going to put this out,
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
buff this guy, and now he can get rid of this guy and not die. And then I deal 6 damage. Soon TM. Oh, that joke never gets old.
On your head.
Hey, there's your knife juggler.
The Frostwolves stand ready.
Oh no!
Reporting for duty.
He was lucky. Both of those random damages went to that guy. 1 damage to a random enemy. Lucky. Okay. Okay, so I can finish the game here. And I'll show you why. I can give this minion 4/4, which is 7.
Forward.
Deal 4 here.
For
Deal 4 here.
justice.
So I talked about that +4/+4 card being a finisher and really good at dealing damage out of nowhere. That guy did not think he was going to lose that turn. He still had plenty of health. He had counted out my minion's health. But +4/+4 totally changes. Oh, I thought it said... What is that face? What's that emoticon? Who is that? Victory! Yeah! Okay, so let's play one more. Everyone cross your fingers that we get a priest so we can see this deck versus priest. Maybe it will happen. Or we can see a Murloc deck just to see how cool they are because they're awesome. I'll probably lose, but Murloc decks are fun. You can't be mad about losing to like a slew of Murlocs. Hey! It's a shaman.
For doom.
He might have them.
I will fight with honor.
I really like this initial draw. That's really good. We're keeping that. Okay, Ronka. Bring on the Murlocs. Let's make it happen. Thank you. Oh, is it Caitlin? Again, not using this. I don't want to waste the health benefit over having him out a turn early. It's not worth it. What you gonna do, Ronka? Did I greet you yet? I don't think I did.
Well met.
Hello. Not a Murloc.
Greetings, friend.
Job's done.
I'm bringing this out because they're like direct counters, and I don't want to use my Bloodfen yet. If I can hopefully get a cleric, who knows how the cards will draw. Is that a saying? I'm unsure. I think Ronka might be one of those people who takes a long time every turn. We'll see. Okay. Let's bring out
Don't mess
the Hunter.
with Tusker.
Gotta get rid of this dude.
Job's done.
Which means they're probably gonna get to attack me one more time. But if they do, I'm gonna have a lot of minions on the board. So we'll see what he does. Or she. Ronka could be a girl. I don't know. Hello and welcome to my stream, or Gilly's Hearthstone Variety Show. I hope you guys can come tomorrow because it's Tankard Tuesday, and you should grab a beer if you're of age and have a beer with me as I ladder. I may ladder a bit with this deck or with my ever-changing Warlock deck. I'm trying to make a Warlock deck. It's quite difficult to make your own deck. Every time I think I've got it figured out, then I die miserably to a certain class, and I'm going to change my deck a little bit to not make it so bad, and then it makes it worse versus someone else. Yeah, so ever-changing. It's fun, though. What are you doing, Ronka? Ranka. Whatever.
There is little time.
Uh-oh. Hurry! Hurry! You can't... You must hurry! They're really running it low. Hurry, hurry. That was awesome. Okay. What do I want to do here? That. That.
Reporting for duty.
I love that guy's very thick accent. Isn't this a nice stream? I like to think it's a nice little stream. You know, it's okay. Just kidding, it's awesome! It'd be better if Franca didn't take quite so long on his / her turns. Oh, that's a good card. I'm a fan of this guy. Thing. Totem. He's really protecting that totem. Like, you shall not kill me. Except I'm going to. Hey, buddy, you're going to run out of time again. There you go. You got it. So I could put on the Blessing of Kings and add the Divine Shield, and it's going to survive attack, especially if I attack this one first.
Let me think.
I think that might be pretty fun. Let's try it. I don't really need to heal myself yet, so... Alright. That's gone. Um,
The battle!
Job's done.
this raptor is definitely evolved into a T-Rex. It's 7'6". It started as 3'2". Oh. 2 a.m. rum. That's always a good plan. What are we doing? Oh, what's this? I've never even seen this thing before. Dang. Should probably get rid of that, like, as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I gotta get rid of this guy first, and he knows it. And there's nothing I can do. So I will Yeti it up. I'm gonna save this. Bring one of these guys out.
Duty.
It's only a matter of time. I'm coming for you with my T-Rex. Wait, what's +3? What are you talking about? +3 back in the day. Oh, the +4/+4. Blessing of Kings.
Wonder.
Oh, the totem. Ugh. And then they they nerfed it because they realized that it's terrible. That was a really cool combo though. He played that Flame Tongue totem, which gave adjacent minions. He's like delaying. He's like, please T-Rex, no, don't eat me.
That was a mistake.
I am sorry.
I love the emotes. I amuse myself. He has gotten so lucky. That is the 3rd taunt totem that has come out. He is a lucky guy. I'm gonna use this.
Ready to ride. Taste my steel.
God, I really want to get rid of... I need to get rid of this. He needs to not be allowed to draw. Fine.
The battle!
Oh, I can't attack with these because it's frozen. And I'm gonna use this. I really want to save this. Oh, I could heal him, right? Yeah.
Someone call for the doctor.
The bringing out the Flame Tongue totem and then having the thing that buffed the health of the totems, it did require me to put the 4/4 on this guy. I've just been lucky enough to keep him alive. It's only a matter of time, I'm sure. This is really tempting, all these minions. I don't know if he's got some sort of wipe card in his deck. Still kicking it!
I'm flying!
Uh-oh. There it goes! That's okay.
Taste my steel.
The battle!
See, it's so tempting here. See, I don't know if shamans have wipes or not. I was trying to figure that out. It's so tempting to put more minions out. I really think I'm just going to
Reporting for duty.
play the long game. I've got more health than he does. It's a waste of mana, but if he had a wipe and I put out my other Yeti, and to some extent my Ooze, that would suck. And he's got a lot of cards just sitting in his hand. So he's plotting. He's plotting something. I don't know enough about the Shaman deck to know if they've got a wipe card or not. I mean, most decks do. It's just the extent of it. Like, Warlock is very damaging. So what can I do? I think I'm gonna do this. It seems crazy. So crazy it might just work.
To battle! Reporting for duty.
I'm still gonna save that other Yeti.
To battle!
Alright. The Warlock one, Yeti's a nice guy. Never gets old. Chain Lightning. Ah. It's gotta be coming. The Warlock one is 4, but it deals damage to your side as well. And you. Warlock deck is tricky. Um, he's at least... Okay.
Well played.
Alright! Oh, look at that! I got a Pally card. Sweet. Alright. So you've seen how the deck works a little bit. We did not get a priest. I apologize. That is out of my control. I'm going to switch over to my camera. I'm just going to go over a couple of possible card replacements. Are we still there? What'd I do? Okay. Camera. Technically illiterate, apparently. So I'm going to go over a couple of card replacements. Oh, I left... Actually, I need to not be in camera mode. Sorry, guys. First day, I swear. First time on the show. There we go. Hearthstone, you still up? You are. Okay. Okay. We're going to go over a couple of card replacements. So once you've gotten this deck up high enough level, it may start having issues trading as efficiently with other people. So someone mentioned the Knife Juggler, and that's where this is going to actually come into play. Once you get further along and you've gotten more cards, whether by buying some packs, spending your gold that you've made through quests, or maybe through arenas you've gotten them, you can start upgrading. There's a few cards that you can do. We have one River Crocolisk in this deck. If you remember, it's the 2 mana one that's 2 attack, 3 health. And you can replace that one with a couple of different cards. One is the Amani Berserker. Same exact stats, 2 mana, 2 attack, 3 health. However, it has an enrage ability, which basically means once it gets attacked and takes damage. So as long as it takes damage but doesn't die, it actually gets 3 more attacks. So it prompts them to want to spend more to make sure that they kill it outright. Or if they don't kill it outright, then you've got a 5 attack, however much health is left, minion that only cost you 2, which is also pretty good. You can also replace that Crocolisk with a Sun Fury Protector, which is, and by the way, I've got this in crafting mode because I don't even have these cards yet. Again, same stats, 2, 2, and 3. The only difference is that it's Battle Cry. It gives adjacent minions taunt. So when you use this, you'll want to make sure, I like to use my River Crocolisk at the beginning if I have it. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that with this one. You'd want to wait, and you definitely want to make sure that you're putting your minions down in the correct places on the board so that you have the right minions that you would want to have taunt. So you'd definitely have to play knowing that this card would eventually be coming up in your deck when placing your minions. The other thing is the Razorfen Hunters. Those were those dinosaurs that were 2 mana and then 3 attack, 2 health. You can replace those with the Knife Juggler, which I can't remember whom, but somebody mentioned this in stream earlier. Same exact stats once again, 2 mana, 3 attack, 2 health. But after you summon a minion, it deals 1 damage to a random enemy. So if you remember, I think it was in the last game, they brought out a knife juggler, and it helped because it actually took down my like very buffed T-Rex, which he couldn't deal with otherwise. But it's a random enemy, so um, you got a little bit of a randomization to that. You can also replace that the Razorfen Hunter, or not, the Bloodfen Raptor, I'm sorry, with the Fairy Dragon, which is 2 mana and then 3/2, so the same exact stats. This thing is so frustrating for a lot of decks because it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. It's so frustrating because if you're playing like a Warlock, you can't use any of your spells on it, and you have a ton of spells in your deck. Mages can't use their spells or their hero power on it. It can be a very frustrating early game card to try to deal with. So that's definitely, if I were to replace, I'd probably replace with that one just because I know how much it pisses me off when I see it. um, the other two replacements that were recommended, these are more on preference. So you've got the Razorfen Hunters, which are 3. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, they're 3, and there's 2 of them in this deck. They're 3, 2, and 3, but when it comes out, it also summons a 1/1 boar. The suggestion for replacing them was actually to replace it with, where is it? Oh, there it is. The Harvest Golem, which has the exact same stats, but when it dies, it summons a 2/1 minion instead of 1/1. So you're getting a little bit more of attack. The only thing you're trading here is this second minion doesn't come out until this first minion has died. So when playing versus like a mage or priest deck, the Razorfen Hunter is really good because both minions come out at the same time, and it's a little bit more difficult for them to deal with. They're not like a hunter deck or to some extent maybe like a shaman deck where you've got a bunch more minions in the early game. They tend to have fewer minions, but they're higher powered, and they then have the high powered spells. So the multiple minions are a little bit more difficult for them to deal with instead of the one at a time like this does. But it does give you a better minion. It's 2/1 instead of 1/1. So that's more of your personal preference. Finally, the last suggestion was to replace the Chillwind Yeti, our good friend Chillwind Yeti, with the Ogre Magi. See how long? There we go. The Ogre Magi, or the Azure Drake, which is 5. This guy. So the Ogre Magi and the Azure Drake both are 4/4 instead of your Chillwind Yeti, which is 4/5. So you're going to be losing 1 health if you replace your Chillwind Yeti with one of these or both of these cards. The Ogre Magi is only 4. The Azure Drake costs 5. The reason being is both of those cards give you spell damage +1, but this one also gives you the additional draw card, which is very nice. The issue being the spell damage in this deck is really only going to benefit your Consecration spell, the one that deals 2 damage to all of the enemies. And what it'll do is if you have a spell damage +1, and then it'll deal 3 damage, or if you have 2 spell damage +1s, that would deal 4. However, what you're losing is the 4/5, and why that's so nice is your Chillwind Yeti at full health can deal with any other 4 attack like this card or the Ogre Magi, or even a 3 attack that's been buffed by the Shattered Sun Cleric, which is very common. We did it in our deck a bunch. It's able to kill those things without dying, which means that they have to use mana or another minion to take out your minion, or you're going to then deal 4 damage to another minion or to the opponent. So while the spell damage and possibly this card draw are nice, there's not enough spells that I would say it's worth it unless you're running into an issue where you are constantly getting overrun with a lot of minions that you can't take out with your Consecration. That would be pretty much the only time that I would say that you would maybe want to consider switching out those cards. But the Chillwind Yetis are just so good, especially during versus the Priest and Mage decks. So with that, that is Scrattlebeard's, God, that name. That is Scrattlebeard's Pally deck. I will be uploading this to YouTube tomorrow. And I will put in there the deck list. So if you're playing or if you are going to be going into open beta soon, this game's going into open beta in December, then you can come back and watch this and have a good deck that you'll be able to make just out of the basic cards, which is really, really awesome. And like I said, Scrattlebeard got to this on Masters 3-star just with this deck. So I think that's really cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. I want to say thank you to Aiur. They're this really cool band. They always let me use their music in my videos, like my Craft Stars videos, and they also let me use their song at the beginning of this episode. So if you liked it, go check them out. They have really cool stuff. I will also post a link to them in the YouTube video tomorrow. Thank you so much. I will be in chat for a little bit after this to answer any questions if you have any. I hope you'll come back tomorrow, maybe with a beer for Tinker Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.